Secret, Russian President Vladimir Putin is a key ally of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and Russia blasted the Obama administration after President Obama announced his plan to expand airstrikes against ISIS to include targets inside Syria. So how will Putin's relationship with Syria impact the fight against ISIS? Joining us, Russian Ambassador to the UN, Vitaly Churkin. Nice to see you, Ambassador.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
So what is your view of ISIS?
They're a horrible terrorist organization, and from the outset, for years, we have been saying that the main threat in the region is terrorism. And when the United States decided to make toppling President Assad as the priority of the policy of the United States, we told them that it was the terrorists we need to worry about. As to ISIL, we're supporting the government in Baghdad, the Iraqi government, even before the United States. While people in Washington were scratching their heads figuring out what to do, we were providing tangible military support to the Iraqi government. So we are out there. But you're absolutely right. If the United States were to want to build a real international coalition of fighting against terrorism, they will have to respect international law, and they will have to take into account the fact that there is a Syrian government. So if they want to go across the border and bomb the Syrian territory, even if it's ISIL, they have to coordinate it with the Syrian government. It has a political significance for a real international coalition, and it has a practical significance, because short of that, we fear that it may degenerate into a chaotic situation. And in fact, there are other terrorist organizations other than ISIL in Syria, like this Jabhat al-Nusra and some others. So they may take over the territory, which may be vacated by ISIL after American strike. So it is something which really needs a lot of coordination, which we are concerned is not there in the President of the United States thinking.
Okay, in light of where we are, what do we do? If we're both joined against ISIS, how do we get rid of them?
We need to fight. I mean, we did not criticize the fact that the United States responded to the request of the Iraqi government that started bombing ISIL. They need to do the same thing.
What do we do about the ISIL in Syria?
They need to do the same thing, but they need to coordinate it with the Syrian government, because they are the ones who have been fighting ISIL in the past 3 years.
But he dumped chemical weapons on his people, and as recently as April, dumped chlorine on his people.
In fact, I think it has been proven beyond reasonable doubt that it was the opposition who used chemical weapons in Syria. That's why President Obama did not use force at that time, because they did not cross the red line. And actually, chlorine.
So you think it wasn't Assad who did chemical weapons, but
absolutely, it was proven beyond reasonable doubt.
How about April, when there was chlorine gas used against civilians? Who did that?
That is still being investigated, but it is clear that a few days ago it was the ISIL who used chlorine in Iraq. So that the case in Syria needs to be investigated.
All right. Well, and indeed it will. Ambassador, will you come back again? These are big topics. We should discuss it more.
Okay.
You'll come back?
I don't know. It's a very short interview, so maybe I will.
Maybe you will. Maybe you won't.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
All right. Well, I do hope you will. All right.
That will have a more substantive discussion, I hope.
We had a substantive. You told me. I was curious.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see.
All right, Ambassador. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.